Hey guys, Taylor with GammaEdge here, coming at you post-market recap for May 12th, 2025. After trade news had a big gap up in the morning, no follow through, but started to see some towards the end of the session. So let's get into price action itself. So on our pre-market prep, this is in the Discord. You can go read this if you want to. I'm not going to go through it all. We generally post a pre-market video as well. Didn't get to that today. Long story short, SPXP, SPXA complexes, these are call dominated. Good to see for the bulls. Specifically looking at SPX 0DT structure, transition zones were well below where we opened. Again, we opened right around 5,800. Transition zones were down around 5,665. So all that means is relative to the positioning at close Friday, we were very stretched, and what that simply means is we needed to see a lot of call buying come into the market if we want to see kind of a continuation higher. Further, the risk is, all those calls instantly became in the money, well in the money overnight. So, it's likely they want to take those profits. So again, the risk there is monetization, which brings selling pressure. So you want to see that call volume, call speculation still come into the market. And then again, with that, pairing that with 5,800 key clear level in the structure headed into the market open. So again, going through price action itself, 5,800, this key level right here, we retested it multiple times in the morning. It just didn't look like buyers were stepping in. Then right off this 5,800 level that we've been talking about right there, then we started to see that fall through higher up to the opening print, and then, more or less chopped around the opening print to end the session. So yeah, right, aside from this little time period right here is more or less just chop fest today, but that key 5,800 level did hold. Then from a market trend model point of view, again, when we were saying, buyers really didn't step in today, I still believe that is true. We did very flat action. Looking at our filtered tick, which is, again, is our way of measuring a significant buying and selling in the market. If you don't know what that is, curated playlist in the description. You can go watch the video we're prepared there. On the market trend model, again, just very flat action. Coming into the market, we were actually in a short-term downtrend. So, maybe this got corrected today. We'll see it in position, if we continue to see call speculation build out in the complex, and then, the market trend model really needs to ramp in the coming days. Then specific to our intraday volume analysis, right? Again, this past weekend we came out with an article specifically on how to use our intraday volume analysis. Again, curated playlist in the description. We have a YouTube video for you on that. But simply put, what we're doing is we're looking at the activity of call and put speculators throughout the session, specific to the SPX 0DT volume. We then plot that behavior over the session to understand a character price action. Is it trending or is it choppy? And then B is, understanding the behavior of speculators from the open. At any point in time, we can infer what the likely path of that speculation is through the close, and price follows speculation. So, if you know where price speculation is likely to head, where price is likely to head as well. And so again, with all that said, call speculation on the day was fairly flat. So again, that's why we really didn't see that speculation higher. That's why we tweeted earlier in the session, buyers really weren't showing up. We didn't really see that come out in a material way. So this kind of put a lid on the market in terms of, a big ramp higher, so to speak. However, from the put side point of view, this was ramping higher all sessions. So again, there was not a big risk to the downside either, because we weren't seeing a material and sustained speculation to the downside. Yes, we got little starts and stops throughout the session, but nothing sustained, and we didn't see any, broad selling via the call side as well step in. So again, you can see why this is informative, because yes, I understand we have all the data here at the end of the session. So yes, it's clearly a chop day, but it's also, helpful to understand how the day played out. So you just understand the utility of the tool. Now we can go look at kind of an intraday example so you can see the utility of the tool. So again, right here's an example at 12:30. The speculation of call speculators throughout the session was lower all day. Speculation of the put side was higher all day. So this is just a classic chop pattern. So again, this really just tells us, neither side is being super strong at this point in time. We were pinned right at the 5,800 line. So until we see something happen one way or another, chop is what we should be expecting. And this is more or less what we were projecting out into the end of the session at that time. Then right here's that same chart again. Now it is 2:40 p.m. Yes, we got that little bit of lift higher, but then we can see that was quickly subsided. We did not continue to see that call speculation higher. It really flattened out. So again, at this point in time, 2:40 in the afternoon, more or less just projecting flat price action throughout the session. That's really what we got. So again, if you're an intraday scalper, it's helpful because it kind of defines what kind of move we can be expecting. Are we expecting a large range on the day, or is it tight price action because of chop? And then also, if you're an options credit seller as an example, kind of knowing where your upper and lower bounds are for the day, and knowing where price action could be going, but also importantly where price action is not likely to go, is also very helpful as well. So with that's all we got for you guys tonight. Again, looking at the market trend model, really no impulse either way right now. We need to see just more evidence. Obviously, with the gap up today, kind of a key level just to make sure that gap holds. And then we did see a little bit of impulse higher, so net, bias is kind of sideways to high right now at this point in time. And got to think too, right? That 5,800 is still going to be a key line in the sand as well. So obviously, we'll see how structure updates overnight with our overnight updates. We'll be at you guys, tomorrow morning with our pre-market video, making sure all our key levels are what they are, and structure still called dominate, all that good stuff. So with that, y'all have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.